right now.
Right now.
They just
Right now?
pick it right now.
Bottom.
There are other heroes, you know that, right?
That's how I get a good mindset. Get a YOLO mindset.
You just gotta get into it immediately.
Yup.
There's no way they draft the Murata first two, dude.
No.
They used it before. They did.
They have recently. Yeah, they have picked it in the first two recently.
That is
Not very often, it has to be said, but
Alright, there's a
instead they
Slardar.
go for safe Slardar.
Who picked the side this time?
It's a dire starter.
I can find that out for you.
Navi again?
Navi have always picked Dire so far, when they've had the chance.
I'd imagine nothing changed there.
Virtus Pro went for first pick, Navi picked Dire. Yeah.
Phoenix,
Back to the basics.
Firebird.
back to the basics.
It's already looking bad for Navi.
Because they picked standard?
Yup.
Dude, a lot of teams would be happy with this opener.
Yeah,
not
I think a
really.
lot of teams would be happy with Slardar Phoenix.
That's why it's basic.
It's become commonplace now. We look down upon your Slardar Phoenix picks.
Bambo's already shaking his head.
He is,
He's
yeah.
like, this isn't the Navi I know.
It's not the general I know.
Would you say Kaipi picks out of the ordinary?
Well, somewhat, I guess.
Would you say your success could be a result of that?
We'll find out
off.
soon, huh?
Turn to bat.
I feel like Jacob's baiting here. Don't do it,
How's your success going?
Don't do it.
I'm good.
Don't go to the dark side.
You know what my favorite casted Bambo game is? I remember you picked offlane Gyrocopter for yourself.
10 seconds.
And you were against Sing Sing Murata one-on-one. Then you tried to snipe a courier and got
5 seconds remaining.
you got juked so hard your shoes got left behind, man. Then you got
Pretty sure I survived though.
dude, no, then you got first blooded.
Did I?
You tried to go for the courier, you failed. You got first blooded. Then you were like a level 2 Gyrocopter offlane.
It happens, man. What can I say?
So the slug again.
This is quite early start though. They can kind of work around this.
Turn to bat.
Tell me, William, what is the best hero to deal with slug in the world?
Navi's turn
In
to
the
bat.
world?
Legion Commander.
Is that
The Blade Mill Duel.
a blade
That
belt too? I
100%.
don't know if that's
Oh, he said the best hero. He didn't say the best hero in the game.
Timber. Timber's really good at dealing with Slark. Just
10
because
seconds
you prevent
remaining.
Slark from doing Slark things.
What about Doom?
5 seconds remaining.
Doom's okay, but if you get an Aegis, it's
Virtus
dealable.
Pros turn to bat.
It's also had another
Navi's
nerf
turn
in
to
the last
pick.
patch.
Yeah,
Even longer cooldown.
that hero can't keep up anymore.
No, I mean, someone jokingly wrote, can't wait for 689 to see 200-minute cooldowns. Doom can now only cast Doom twice a match.
Oh, here we go.
Then the Invoker.
I'd be okay with that change.
Are you happy with that?
I
Yeah.
think
Looking better. Looking
Yeah,
better.
okay, all right. It's on the right track. Bambo almost approves.
he wanted to see the Invoker last game.
I mean, these three heroes already.
They're great picks.
I would rather play with these three heroes than have the 5 they had last
Yeah.
game. Just play 3 versus 5 with this.
5
Actually have a better
seconds
chance.
remaining.
Yeah, than the 5 they had last time around, because
You feel like that last one was a bit of a mix and
Reserve
match.
time.
that was the biggest mismatch ever.
Yeah.
That's what happens when like you have a couple of players suggesting stuff and the captain gets confused.
Do you think that's what happened there?
It's the only reason I can think of.
I don't know, man. That's what happens when the captain is so hell-bent on picking Chen. I should know I do the same thing.
Jacob, I play one hero. Taft Anders, man.
That's me.
Only the Chen was good though.
Okay, so Virtus Pro sticking to what they know.
Navi's turn to pick.
CM is back again.
I think CM, it's okay here. Does work well with the Slark and the Void. It allows you to play pretty aggressively. I really like the Invoker pick though, just because of
10 seconds remaining.
it kind of gets countered by the Void in some ways just because of the Chrono plus the time
5
dilation is quite good
seconds
against
remaining.
Invoke, but at the same time, I just think it's
Reserve
a
time.
Dendi-like hero. It's a hero that will allow him to scale. He can play later on into the game. He's not so all-in-ish with a hero like Bat Rider, for example. Like,
How-
you can't carry with that hero.
How does he play the Invoker against these? So far, anyway.
You just play standard.
Exort.
Yeah?
Yeah.
100% Exort.
They have a lot of setups, Bambo,
Virtus
for
Pros
Sunstrike as well.
turn to pick.
Yeah, now they're getting the
Slardar.
lockdown as well with this with the Shadow Shaman. I was thinking maybe they would go for the Tusk, but no such luck.
I don't like the support duo though. It's kind of iffy.
They can't keep up.
10 seconds remaining.
This Rasa got really fat. Or he's just gonna be
5
fooled.
seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
I think Slark eats a lot of these heroes alive already. He's quite good against Invoker.
Reserve
He's really
time.
good against Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman has like no move speed, has no AoE ground targeted disable.
If the Slark gets a dagger early, I think he's just gonna roll over this entire game for so far.
Yeah. I'm already afraid again for Navi, but they still have that one pick to...
To tie it all together
The last
with a
time.
spin.
Yeah, we said that last time, but
Yeah.
that was last time.
A bit of deliberation from FNG this time around.
I think this time around, it's harder to draft against because Navi does have a more balanced draft. The 2 mid heroes that you would like to see against the Invoker are already banned out as well.
Yeah.
I think Timber mid is nice for them as well.
Oh, Tinker would be good. There's not too much to catch for him either.
No, Timber.
Timber? For VP?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they've played a lot of Timber.
I don't know if he plays that.
Played twice yesterday.
I thought you said Tinker. I was like, I'd be down to see some Tinker.
Tinker's also nice.
Yeah, no one's Tinker yesterday was really good. Up against the Lions.
And Liquid.
They have like no sustain at all. If he gets like fast X, they can't do anything anymore.
10 seconds remaining.
A lot of time in this one.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, it's your possible elimination game. It's a
Okay.
no fear Ursa.
Navi's
Safe
turn
support.
to ban.
So, mimic last game's lineup, but with a Death Prophet banned out.
Oh, I guess it is Deja Vu. It's pretty identical.
They're just riding the last game.
10 seconds remaining.
What do you think Navi wants for their call? A Juggernaut?
5 seconds remaining.
I think Jugger destroyed by Slark and Worlds.
Phantom Assassin?
Virtus Pro's turn to ban.
They need somewhat of a frontlining guy.
I think against Slark you have 2 options. One, you push the pace before he can get big and make him useless, because if you straight up 5-man, then Slark can't really do a whole lot. He's committed
10
to the fight at that
seconds
point.
remaining.
Or you have something that can continue to chase with him.
5 seconds remaining.
Like something equally mobile.
Like an Antimate?
Virtus Pro's turn to pick.
AM's kind of okay.
It's good work here, but he needs to have a really good game. He needs to go miracle mode.
Did you say miracle mode?
10 seconds remaining.
What a compliment.
Well, Navi
5
does have
seconds
the
remaining.
heroes to buy him time.
Yeah, but-
Behold the horn of madness.
Oh,
Oh.
Navi's turn to pick.
Saw a few Magnus yesterday in the group stage. Continues today.
That's a lot of team fight on the side of VP. That's scary to fight against. There's not easy ways to disengage off of the Mag RP either. I guess the
10
one thing that they have is
seconds remaining.
if the Phoenix can counter initiate.
But they should never be clumped
5
up at all for
seconds
this
Yeah.
game.
remaining.
They have to fight split.
But what if he just hits like 2-man? You have 2 different ways now to win the fight.
I don't even
Reserve
think
time.
2-man should be allowed.
Axe.
All right.
There's the Navi.
it is a push.
Ties it all together nicely, or does it, Blitz?
They're kind of on a time bomb though. They have to like win early.
Yeah.
Super
One
Bowl.
position
Yeah.
slaughter.
Super
think-
early game?
Yes.
Laning
If
phase
they make a
goes
couple
well.
mistakes, they're pretty much fucked.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Thank you, all 3 of you. We'll get more from all 3 of them at the end of this game as we tie up our series. We're heading to game number 3. Let's head back to the commentators for Navi versus Virtus Pro.
Thanks very much, Paul and Dean. Here we have the deciding game now. Navi versus VP. It's 2 final picks. Gerald, Navi, Madness. We're seeing something a little bit different off the back of what elsewise looked to be similar drafting to what we've had all series. Cap, what's better here? Are you liking the last pickaxe in response to the Magnus?
You know, I think when I look at this series, I think there are too many mistakes, so I'm always going to lead to the team that has better late game, just because this lineup of Navi requires you to execute very well, and for you to be able to actually, like, take it to VP, win fights, and then turn that into taking towers and taking objectives ultimately. I mean, at least it kind of ties in the weird Shadow Shaman pick. I was just like, saw that, and I was like, okay, this is not necessarily a good idea for a Shadow Shaman game, but it does at least give you some additional pushing power, and I'm always happy to see something a little bit different.
What's your thoughts, Ben, on the draft?
I think it's interesting how they choose to try and handle the Slark this game. I think Axe is actually very, very good versus Slark because you don't want to focus them even if you are in the Shadow Dance. And see some aggressive maneuvers by VP in the early game. We saw Smoke come out from No Fear earlier, trying to block those wards. I don't know if General can start off in the lane though, so maybe not able to put pressure on the Slark as early as he wants. And you also can Dark Pact off that Berserker's Call.
Yeah, that's why he ends up going for the Iron Talon build. Now, we've seen the rise of these like 4-position axes where they start off in the jungle and they actually do it incredibly quickly. And VP don't have the best heroes to be able to interrupt that. Maybe they are going to full rotate Crystal Maiden and Earth Spirit into the enemy jungle to try and catch the axe out. But Navi, if they just get some good defensive wards and even have Seneko kind of rotating in between top and mid lane, he might be able to intercept that rotation and give the Axe the required heads up that he doesn't get caught while jungling. Because we've seen Axes get like level 5x5 quite easily, if not much faster.
As you can see there, that D-Ward just, unfortunately for Navi, just not quite managing to catch that Observer from VP. It's in a very, very nice position indeed, which is going to allow G to feel a little bit safer on the mid lane on his Magnus. I mean, the mid lane matchup, having this Magnus up against Dendy on the Invoker, how do we expect to see this one to go? Is it a wash or is there going to be a clear winner here, Cap?
The mid matchup? Yeah, I think this should be pretty good for Dendy. Like, he's versus Magnus. Magnus never, like, loses his lane full out. He just kind of, like, farms away, he bottles, and just spams Shockwave. So, Dendy should be happy with the way this goes.
Is he going Quads Wex, though? If he's going Quads Wex, this is a much different game than I expected. And then, if G will actually, I think, have a better lane because of this, because he doesn't really have to worry about the last hit. So let's see what he picks up at level 2.
Maybe it means he's gonna, he's identifying himself, like he's gonna be the person who tries to shut down the Slark before he gets too big. Like if he goes to the Quaswex build and maybe even picks up the Orchid route, which we've only seen a couple of times lately, but...
On top lane, Navi playing very nicely around Yoku's Time Walk. He's still on cooldown here. He'll be able to walk it off, but as we're seeing, I mean, against these two heroes, both with lockdown, Ben, Yoku's got to be very careful when he's only got the earlier levels in Time Walk.
Our style is out of mana and it's pretty low on HP. He does have to wait a little bit for the clarity, but he came with a lot of regen. 2 sets of Tangos in 1 South, so he should be A-okay. And Dendy has not yet committed to a build yet, and maybe identifying that they really lack team fight last game, and the Quaswex certainly helps out in that aspect.
Yeah, and burning out the mana is really effective against Slark, so you get the right Tornado EMP that really limits his effectiveness quite a bit. Either way, the mid matchup should be okay as long as he doesn't get ganked up by No Fear and FNG as they rotate across. They're inevitably going to go for a smoke anywhere between 2 and 4 minutes. Let's see if they can catch out mid. Seneko is going to be caught here by No Fear. He's still got the dive though. And he's just trying to like soak experience at the bottom lane. And it's also keeping the supports there because they don't want to give Phoenix a free level 6.
I think the Quaswex is really important versus the Magnus and even the Faceless Void. You can just drop an EMP inside the Chronosphere and Faceless Void can't really do that much about it. But more importantly, I think a Tornado to counter the RP so that your teammates can run away before they get skewered or offer additional control against the Slark during the Shadow Dance. Like this is all very, very useful and important for Navi. Yeah, this with the Quaswex, it doesn't seem like they got outdrafted as badly as games 1 and 2.
The reason we kind of initially expected Exort was because we just expected pushing power, and that's what the Exort Invoker gives you with Forge Spirits. But I agree with Ben. I think Quaswex should lead to a much smoother game for Navi, where there's not as much pressure on them to end the game quick.
No Fear just with eyes on General here, soaking up some of the camp XP. Still hanging around as well, maybe seeing if there's going to be any potential for a play towards the mid. And, Smoke's being picked up as well. Still just hanging around, taking what he can from General in the XP departments, trying to slow down this Axe. But General, of course, he's still slowly getting the gold. The safe laners at the moment, over on the side of VP, 21 for 12 on Slark. Tichira 16 for 4, so a slightly slower start for him here. But General, I mean, I guess there's not too much that No Fear can do about this. I guess, is there a point where General gets too low? I mean, maybe like this, he'll try. Just rolls in, but at the same time, yeah, not a lot that this Spirit could do on his own against the Axe, apart from just soak some of the camp XP.
Yeah, that's why he needs FNG if they really want to go for that gank, unless General is just super low. But now that's never going to happen because he's got Tranquil Boost, so he should never be below like 300 HP and ever caught out by No Fear. And he gets the free bounty rune as well. Still, though, Yoku's having a pretty good time as the faces Void. Even if they aren't shutting out the Axe, the offlaners are kind of sharing an equal amount of farm and experience.
Mid lane between G and Dendi, it's actually going incredibly well for the Magnus. G's on 24 for 10, Dendi just 14 for 4, and Dendi could be in trouble. A bit of a wraparound coming out from the side of VP with the smoke, looking to lock down onto Dendi. He's got the heals of Seneko. The Tornado will hold G back. The Kickstone, they just don't quite have enough damage by the looks of it. And Dendi might survive it. G screwing for the shockwave will do it though. Great play from G to get the kill. They'll lose no fear on the back of it, but FNG gets the start to Seneko. VP trying to look for more. Fire Spirit's out. CM will back off, but G still hot on the chase of Seneko. He has got a shockwave. If he can land it, it will get the kill. Continues to close the gap, looking to hold on, and he's got it. Bang on point. G there with the plays mid lane, securing himself a second kill on the Magnus.
Yeah, Seneko actually slightly messed up and missed some of the Sunray heal on Dendi as he backed himself away. That ended up leading to Dendi not having enough HP to survive through that extra shockwave. Good rotation, though, by VP.
Oh,
Two heroes smoked in right
yeah, they're getting drawn in onto Yoku, but no fear and G, they're here with the backup. Shockwave's connected on Arstyle, and Yoku goes straight in with a time walk, the bash as well. They'll get themselves another one. G being incredibly active across the map, and it's paying off. 100% kill contribution from the Magnus.
That was a really cool rotation. Like, it was just so fast that you don't expect it from Navi. Like, the Magnus disappears for, like, maybe 15 seconds at most. And by then, he's like already on top of you by the time Dendi can give the call. Especially during nighttime, you just don't have as much information to work with.
They're really punishing Navi for having this jungle Axe and no one in the offlane. And Phoenix maybe still trying to soak up some experience in the offlane, but Aloha Dan still poses too much of a threat. He's level 6 and Aiko only level 4.
Nice reactions there from Dendi immediately with a tornado as G tries to get the RP out. If that landed, they would have got that kill for sure. They had the Spirit hanging around on the high ground.
I'm surprised Denny didn't drop the EMP the first time. Remember when he tornadoed the mag, like right before first blood happened? He didn't drop his EMP there, and that might have led to him not dying there, which is a pretty big deal. Quaswax Invokers usually do not struggle this much in the early game, CS-wise and death-wise.
And certainly you don't expect your safe lane to be under so much pressure either, but Virtus Pro might be able to catch Ditchira.
Yeah, these are pretty much perfect from VP. They'll jumping crush, will catch out Ditchira. The Hex in return onto Yoku. Yoku does have a chrono. Seneko turning out the heal onto Ditchira. It's going to mean the VP put off diving any further for this one. And they're still going to hang around, and G's come across as well. Still holding onto that RP. And Navi, well aware with this vision, they know exactly what's up, so they'll keep themselves safe back up.
Dire's top tower
And VP
is
unable
under
to
attack.
find anything this time with the rotation.
The offset is kind of awkward because when you make a failed rotation like that, normally it's like, oh, the offlaner is going to get so much in return, but General still has to play kind of scared against Aloha Dance just because the Slark is so powerful early on. Either way, though, if he can, like, their time, if he can get a Blink Dagger before even, he may actually get it before Dendi.
Dendi's got to be
G,
careful.
rather.
G's there, no fear is on the high ground. Ready for follow through if G wants to land the RP. Dendi's got to be very careful how he plays his way around this one. The Spirit starting to close in. They just can't quite find the angle. In fact, the ping's coming out. No fear, he's spotted out. Ditchira very low, and indeed the jump in onto Artstyle. It's just a shaman, but it's going to be another death nonetheless for Navi. As VP getting so much done around the map at this point. And as you said, Cap, it's just punishing the Axe jungle.
VP has made huge adjustments from game number 1. Remember when they just left Tyler out on the Lonesome and they never hooked up with him? This game they've come to his lane a few times already.
Trying to make a go onto G here, but the skewer out away from the EMP. The lockdown isn't there. Even though General is around, he just couldn't get himself in range to find the follow through Berserker's call.
It just means that the more they lose this laning phase due to Virtus Pro's like very active supports, it means that Navi really have to hit hard and execute very well once they get the Blink Dagger on General and start racking up some kills.
Go for no fear here. They've got the cold snap out with Seneko and General. This should be a relatively easy kill for them. They'll block the roll away. No fear. Maybe going to look for some kind of a deny, but a duck down's there. General will finish off the Spirit. This time Navi able to punish the positioning of No Fear. He'd been hanging around that area for a long time trying to make something happen mid. Nice towards top. Artstyle walking across. Can't quite find the range for the initial lockdown.
Ben, would you be supportive of like Midas Slardar? We've seen some safe lane starters go for this just because you don't farm very efficiently. Like Loda would do it occasionally. But at the same time, I feel like while you are worried about your progression going mid-game, I'm also worried about the fact that it does slow down your game and means you're not going to be as impactful around 12, 15 minutes.
I think he might have to make up for the invokers like a farm though.
Dyer's
So
bottom
I
tower
think
is under
they're
attack.
going to have to suffer in the mid game because, or else they're just going to lose late. Because VP have, I think, far superior team fight in the late game with Chrono and Magnus, RP. There's just no way around that. BKBs are not, and they need to farm to compensate for that.
Yeah. So in other
Without
words,
Midas.
you kind of look at this, Owen, and it's like it's not a build that you necessarily want to go, but it's kind of the build that he had to go
He's going
because the
armlet.
laning phase didn't turn out so well. But he's still going the combative armlet build, which is like means he'll have a lot more impact at 15 minutes.
And an Urn on an Invoker, so they're fight ready at the moment. Phoenix maybe, like it's a...
Immediate movement top, straight in with the Chrono, the freezing field. Actually seems to be kind of just out of the sidelines. But it doesn't matter, VP, they've got the damage. Aloha darts, oh, Shadow darts, TP out. Navi unable to find the kill there. And again, it's VP finding action when Navi are finding none.
They had to be just shy of being able to get a Culling Blade off on him as he reached that threshold. They get the Slark kill, like, it's all forgiven. Like, Slardar can die, that's totally fine. They keep the Slark down.
Dyer's
It's way
top
more
tower
important,
is
especially
under
since
attack.
the Slark has gotten way more farm than Slardar.
Oh, G with his invis. Straight up, no messing from VP. Artstyle, he's been chronoed, he's been RP'd, he's had the whole lot done to him. This time it's G with his ult. They're just hungry for kills, hungry for action, VP, and it certainly seems to be
Dyer's
working
middle
out
tower is
at
under
this stage of the
attack.
game.
General, he has his Blink Dagger up, but without that first kill on the Slark, the momentum is like severely stalled. That's what they were waiting for. They jungled, they kind of weathered the storm, fire 4 on 5 into other
tower
lanes,
is
and
under
Invoker
attack.
dying, but now they're in a terrible position because of the failed gank. So they still need a high priority kill. Yoku is not really that important, I would say. Magnus is also not that important because he already has his blink, so Slark would be the ideal target for them, especially because he doesn't have a Shadow Blade. But the thing about Slark this game, he doesn't need that many items this game because an empowered Void and just an empowered Slark without that many items can still dish out the damage.
That ward did get scouted out, and Navi's gonna go for the Roshan here. I kind of like this just because they can do it relatively quickly because they've got amp damage and wards they're gonna drop for it. And it's also a fight that Virtus Pro can't contest very easily. In fact, if they go into this could actually very easily be a losing fight because of this Supernova.
See if they can do anything about this one, VP. A lot of tools they're ready for the side of Navi. Boulder smash in. Shockwave as well. Still regards style down relatively low. Ditcherar already being taken down quite a bit. The Lola's trying to jump in. They're trying to go in, but it's already been picked up. Ditcherar grabs the Aegis. The Supernova in the middle of it all. The Lola's pulled the Shadows, but the dog's there. General, he'll catch him after it. 2 kills for Navi. Moving in for more. Ditcherar with the armlet toggling. Ready to chase down G. FNG tries for the freezing field in the sidelines. The Chrono from Yoku catching out Dendi. They'll take the Invoker kill. But now Navi still with 3 left alive. General's actually going to miss the blink call onto FNG, who still continues to kite them up. Ditcherar can't chase anymore. Yoku first hit bash onto Seneko. There is a haste rune that will be enough to allow the Supernova the Phoenix to fly away. General in the pit. Looks like there's no escape for this man as VP. They will end up finding another kill. Keeping it their ballpark certainly this game. 9 for 4. A bit of a messy fight around the pit. Navi did get the Aegis, but they end up losing the team fight as a whole.
I mean, that was so close to being perfect. Like, if Navi had just taken the Roshan fight and been like, great, we traded 1 for 2, we still got Roshan, we got the Aegis in our hands, and just called it quits from there, the fight would have been a huge turnaround. That fight would have, like, actually brought Navi back into the game. But then they got greedy, they pushed out, they tried to catch more, and they just got, like, outmaneuvered inside the dire jungle and ended up losing heroes that they shouldn't have.
And I'm more surprised that they didn't give the Aegis to Dendi, because Dendi's been the one that's struggling most. He is just not that farmed at this point. Slaughter already has an armlet to deal with his, to survive in these fights, and Dendi looks like he's going to continue to die.
Mid lane, immediate jump in from G. Dendi, he can't play his way out of this, and as you said, falling behind. I mean, look at the difference between G's net worth and Dendi's net worth. G he's nearly doubling it at 13 minutes in. And that's an insane difference to have at this stage, Cap.
Yeah, you don't have a
Dyer's
Midas
middle
on your
tower is under
Invoker 14
attack.
minutes, and he probably won't until like 20 minutes. His progression, like, not just about gold, it's also hugely about levels for the Invoker. He's so,
Radiant's bottom tower is
like,
under
he's not
attack.
going to have any impact in these team fights. He's not also going to be like that hero that moves around the map and puts pressure on VP because he can, you know, win any 1v1 battle with the Quasu X build. That's no longer the case if he doesn't have the levels to back it up.
However, General is
bottom tower
more
is
than
under
compensating
attack.
for
Radiant's
Dendy's like a
bottom
farm.
tower
Looks like he
has
almost
fallen.
has his blade mail completed, so all Dendy needs is to survive a couple of fights and then pick up his Midas, and he should be in recovery territory, but right now he's kind of out of that range.
General has to make some space for him. Get a good like team fight initiation where Dendy's able to sit in the back, be a part of something that he picks up
Radiant's
some kill and
middle
assist
tower
goals
is
and
under
some
attack.
levels.
Dyer's
Then
middle
they can
tower
really
has
say
been
that
denied.
Navi take over the game again. But
Dyer's
for now, they still have to play scared against the big team fight ults
Radiant's
of
bottom
Virtus Pro
tower
at
is
times.
under
VP
attack.
have been doing a really good job of identifying the right targets to kill. They killed the Slardar. It might have been looking like he was rushing with Midas because he did have the gloves and he was sitting on it for a long amount of time, so they wanted to kill him while he was still weak. They've killed Invoker before he has his Midas, so they're really hitting Navi where it hurts.
Mid lane Navi
Radiant's
trying to
middle tower
put the
is
pressure
under
onto
attack.
this tier 1, but looks like VP are going to react, wrapping back around after their successful tier 1 push
Dyer's
towards the top.
tower is under attack.
They've got a glyph
Radiant's
and they
middle
do
tower is
have
under attack.
RP up in 5
Radiant
seconds, so they
structures
can
are
actually fight this with both
fortified.
Chronosphere and RP. This fight will actually determine like the game a lot. This will determine who takes control at 15 to 25 minutes.
Well, they do have the Iran in front line. They do not want to chrono him alone.
No. They just don't find the opening, so they don't even try.
Dyer's
They
top
let
tower
Slardar
is
just
under
farm away at
attack.
top instead.
OG still holding on to this as Navi back off. I mean, if you're Navi now at this stage, is it, as you said, just all about General creating the space to allow Dendy to climb back? Because, well...
There's a lot of things they need to do. They need to get Dendy back in the game. They need to spread out a lot so they don't get like chronoed into an RP. That would just be devastating for them at this point in the game. They need to make sure that Phoenix is the Supernova off. They need
This
to make
could
sure
be
they kill
great counter initiation.
Play jumping in, gets the call up onto a low hard times. VP are going to be there with the reaction. The Chrono is going to hold General place, so no chance for a dunk out. Supernova will come through. Freezing field cancelled immediately by Denny's Tornado. Arsenal drops the wards. They've taken down Yoku on the Void. Navi in a good position at the moment. Dendy in the tree line. Seneko jumping forward as well with the Sunray. Bringing FNG down low. They'll lose the big bird, but they have found a second in return. G skewing forward, takes down Dendy as well. Making sure the VP for the time being that wants to come out top. And Navi still fighting on the back lines. Dunk down for General onto No Fair. 3 for 3. Ditchera, amplify out. They're going to look to continue to try and chase, but the blink out from G will be enough to defer them. So a 3 for 3 trade. I guess at this point, an even trade is a win for Navi, Cat.
Invoker got his Midas, so.
Yeah.
That personally is a win, but they may still...
If he had the mana for a dunk there,
Yeah.
that would have been... Oh,
may still
Ditchera!
die.
He might have to clean up a G. Skewing Oasis, get away from my friend, but Ditchera with a drive-by slap down.
Radiant's bottom
Takes
tower
down the Slarker G. He's still got an RP. He'll use it on Ditchera. And he might just get this kill with the help of Yoku and FNG turning back up. No fears there as well. And they will end up taking down this man. Can Ditchera play his way around this one? No, he can't. No, Togni won't save you this time. So they will punish the Slardar's presence, but nonetheless, him being there and his aggression did allow him to take down the Slar.
Again, at the end, well, the Midas is really good for the Invoker, and that fight did allow him to finish it up. That's a big pickup. At the same time, I'm still concerned that the fact that Navi are just trading when they need to be winning fights outright at this point.
Quick solo kill onto FNG. Okay, he taps in Seneko, needs a +1. Gets the job done. FNG caught out. And Dendy, as you said, you have the back of this kind of bit of action. He's starting to get the momentum back that he just was lacking for the first 15 minutes of this game.
Yeah, they'll still need to try and get a couple more team fights in. And the bad part was that Virtus Pro were already set up for the counter initiation, so like a pretty good Chronosphere that saves the Slark. If they kill the Slark, they probably win that fight like outright. They trade maybe like 3 for 1 or something like that. And then they can push and take the tier 2 and take some objectives. You look at this lineup from Navi, it doesn't actually have a whole lot of high ground potential outside of the Shadow Shaman Serpent Ward. So when they take these kind of fights, they need to win them very clearly for them to have the numbers advantage to continue to pressure and take control of the map and take away these objectives so they can start thinking about ending this game, because we are on a timer for Navi ultimately. Even if the Midas draws things out, and even if Ditchera in general are getting good amounts of farm and they're stronger and they're going to be better at 30 minutes than you expect Slardar and Axe to be, it still doesn't change the fact that the better late game is in the hands of VP.
Especially with no Midas on the Slardar. He's gonna trail, as it seems. He was able to continue his net worth streak because of the Aegis, but
doesn't seem to be so fortunate. Maybe heading into this mid-game VP, looking to set up a fight. No Navi members around.
I was hoping to find someone in that top jungle, but they will now start to make a move towards the whereabouts of Navi. And Navi will have the high ground.
It's all about the initiation at this point.
See what they can find. VP No Fear continuing to move forward. Seneko, he'll be at the front. They do have all ults available both sides, so see how it goes down here. DOTA tries the jumping, gets the crush onto 2. Where's the follow through? Denny getting in position. Tornado clipping 2 here. General jumps in with a call. The blade mail the dunk. They'll take down the Earth Spirit. Loyaltas meanwhile beating down Tars. Somebody did get out. The Serpent Wars and Loyaltas actually getting caught in the Chronosphere here. Meaning DOTA could take him down. A Chrono gone wrong here for Yoku. He's trying to get himself away, but he's been caught out by General and DOTA. Yoku getting punished for his sins. FNG will end up actually finishing off Dendi on the sidelines. But the Chronosphere there not working out for VP.
And a very selfless play from Artstyle. He went in there and disabled the Magnus in the back, so he wasn't able to get the RP off. And he was definitely going to die, but he dropped his wards, he Hexy shackled them, and then that left enough time for them to finish off the frontliners with the pulling blade.
Yeah, and on the opposing side, it was actually FNG who makes that fight look somewhat okay for VP because he managed to get right up in the face of Dendi, who thrown out everything he already had and was able to get the full freezing field to solo kill Dendi like that. Otherwise, that would have been just a straight up 1 for 3, only the Shadow Shaman dying. And that's the kind of fight that Navi you were talking about. We need to see them win, trade 3 for 1 so then they can take control and take objectives. But Dendi end up going down, and Virtus Pro still have some space to farm. Aloha Dance isn't getting his item progression, but they are still drawing this game out. They're not losing any objectives, and that's okay.
And scaling issues might not be as bad for Navi as it seems. Phoenix closing in on his Hand of Midas fairly soon, and Roshan is up.
I guess the next Rosh attempt is going to be where we're potentially big fight. Here's the recap. I mean, Cap, where's it go wrong?
The Chronosphere, if it actually catches the egg, it looks somewhat okay, but it's really unfortunate that he hit the Slark and that DOTA is sitting outside of it. Like, the combination of him not hitting the egg, but also hitting the Slark is really what makes the team fight go so wrong. Well, but if you look at it, it's just like, both supports played the team fight pretty well. Like, Artstyle, his initiation was so critical for making sure that Navi did okay.
I mean, I actually said as well, the fact that FNG was able to kill off Dendi, that pretty much saves it from being a total disaster for VP, guy, because it's such a huge kill, killing that poke.
Yeah, managing to keep him down, get some... Now he's got level 2 freezing field. Who the hell knows what that's going to mean in the next few minutes, but... We'll see. It's all about the big team fight ults from VP. If they have them, they can stop Navi from being so aggressive. They can actively try and take that fight. Otherwise, they have to stay away from Navi. Looks like this next fight is going to be all about the Aegis, all around that Roshan pit. And that should be the advantage of Navi, just like we saw last time, where they throw down the Serpent Wards and they have the Supernova.
That was when they had RP on cooldown, though, in Chrono. So I don't think they're not going to run into the pit, drop the wards with the amp damage this time. It's way too slow, and it's very, very dangerous.
Lower dance coming across, but they've got a sentry down, and immediately with the control, Hex out, is forced away. Lower dance will be fine for the time being, and actually pouncing into the pit, but the blink out from DOTA. That's Shadow Dance used as well from Aloha Dance. So he's going to have to sit on the back foot for a little bit for a minute.
All they have to do is wait out the Serpent Wards, and then they're in a really good position.
But Navi aren't going to go in the pit, and VP take the Roach really slowly. So I think it's just going to be a stalemate at the end of the day, unless VP can wrap around. If they can like wrap around to the right side where the secret shop is, then I think they can take a big fight. They want to fight Navi, but not where Navi is postured very well that Phoenix can get his egg off for free, and Invoker will be free to fire his spells from the back line.
Yeah, I think it's just like, I think a stalemate is to the favor of VP, where they can just they can still posture like 4 heroes around the Roshan pit just to make sure Navi don't do it, and they can let Aloha Dance go wherever he wants. I don't think they necessarily need to go for the fight here. It feels a little bit like an unnecessary risk, but...
Straight in with the RP, it's only on 2-1. He's trying to initiate the fight here. G Supernova coming out below, does post the BKB with the help of FNG.
Nice
trying to get the egg for the call. It's going to be Seneko gets the egg off. They've lost 2. And Aloha does on the retreat now. DOTA blinking forward, look with the chase down. Shadow Dance. TP out is the aim of the game here from the map. But this cross comes just in time as the BKB wears out. VP losing 3 here. General will go down in return, but no fear. He's incredibly deep behind enemy lines. Arthur jumps in, gets off the shackle. Backup is there on the side of Navi with the cold snap. Seneko pulling away the Esprit. Can they keep Arthur alive? Yes, they can. Tornado from Denny controls the Earth Spirit, and Navi find 4. What a call from General there, meaning that Seneko gets off that supernova.
I mean, the fight already looked kind of bad, but once he got that Force Staff into the call to save the egg, it guaranteed, like, okay, fight's over. VP are done for. It's just cleanup time for Navi to see how many kills they can actually get. And the fact they stopped the Slark from being able to TP out was huge. They get the big kill on the carry. Unfortunately, doesn't look like they're going to be able to go straight for Roshan off of that fight, but RP is down for 40 seconds. I think they can still go for it with amp damage.
Nice try by Navi. Dendi was really quick with the tornado.
Yeah.
Like they weren't able to follow up, and I'm not sure what happened to the Void. Maybe he got caught by the tornado, but he was not able to blink in and chrono the backlines. Ideally, that's what you'd be able to do in that sort of situation before your BKBs come out.
I felt like VP didn't need to take that fight. It was such like a risky play where they were at a good point where both teams could sit around the Roshan pit.
Yoku's got a chrono, jumps in, catches Denny and Ditchera. They got the follower though, VP. Bottle smash onto Denny. Loda's jumping in, looking to finish on the Invoker, but Denny with a tornado, EMP as well. Denny's going to live, Ghost forces himself out of this one. They've actually managed to find a kill at FNG, and Loda's will finish off Denny with a dart back, but he ends up paying with his life. It's a 2 for 2. Navi looking for more potentially, trying to get out the amplifier on the side though. This Arstar gets the shackle onto NoFear. Can he find the follow? No, NoFear's going to actually roll it across, but it's not the roll he was looking for. Now stuck in the pit, Ditchera jumps in, will take down the Earth Spirit as Arstar jabs him in the backside. A 3 for 2 trade for Navi as they get themselves back out once more.
A hopeful Chronosphere by Yoku. He chronoed them, and then he saw Roche was at like 15%, and then he didn't really know what to do. They did kill the Invoker at the end, but that was their only big team fight ultimate that they had. Now Magnus has his MKB, so they don't have to worry too much about the counter initiation, and he can have more heroes beat down that egg. But most of them are melee heroes. They still can't deal with the egg into a call from General.
So in the end, it just, you look at Virtus.pro's lineup, you say that when you don't have RP especially, you don't try and go and fight. You don't take any like unnecessary fights at this point. When you have the better late game, you just, like typically teams will spread themselves out, but Virtus.pro is known as a team to try and take as many early fights as possible. They're a very aggressive style. That could be their undoing in this game. They still have ways for Aloha Dance. Like, they have the Empower with a Slark. Like, he clears through jungle really quickly. He has the movement. Like, one of the big things about the Slark is that he's able to rotate around the map very efficiently because he's got that extra movement speed. So in a situation like that, where you got a stalemate outside the Roshan pit, abuse that movement speed. Let Aloha Dance, like, go and push mid or even push the top lane and be ready to TP back if Navi do go back into the Roshan pit. If they just like structure the whole entire idea of that opportunity a bit different instead of trying to go for the fight and just use it for farm, VP would look a hell of a lot better at 25 minutes than they do now.
This BKB might catch Navi by surprise. VP very willing to take a fight in this area with a new BKB and this high ground ward.
NoFear is going to dispel it. Ditchera tries for a blind blink crush, but won't be on target.
And there's an invis on G. This could be really bad for Navi. Actually, they do have a sentry ward set up in that mid lane. Wary of the
Radiant's
Slark.
middle tower is under attack.
See how they want to fight this one.
Radiant
VP, they're coming
structures are
across
fortified.
from the high ground. Navi force out the fortification now. Subsequently dropping the wards.
Look at their positioning. Like, who's he supposed to jump on? They don't have vision inside the trees, and it just looks like there's 1 or 2 heroes available.
Oh, and in fact, General's going to want to jump against the cool onto Aloha Dance. Have they got the damage to bring this slug down with the Hex? They do. Aloha Dance gone out of the fight. Navi ready to go for more now as VP begins to scatter. FNG TP's out. NoFear caught out here on the sidelines. Tried to go for the TP roll away. Is it going to work? A second kill for Navi as they'll finish off the tier 2 as well. And I mean, Navi, they have just recovered absolutely perfectly from the start. It seems to be a little bit reminiscent of game 1's here, Cal.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter now that they don't have the greatest high ground potential if you've kept all of your heroes alive and you've even got the sustain now from Sunray to make you all go to full HP. They could try and push uphill if they wanted to, but they're not going to in this first 20 seconds. I guess there's potential for buyback, and you're not going to do that much damage to the tier 3 anyway, so they spread themselves up, they play the farm game, and they're actually just going to try and stay ahead of VP in economy, which they're only just now in the last like 8 minutes, they've just gotten ahead of VP.
Overall, though, they're controlling the Slark much better.
Yeah.
This was just a call into a Hex before it was a call during the BKB, and they can easily take him down with or without BKB.
Oh, Dance immediately moving up on the top lane. A few members of Navi in the jungle. We'll see if he's able to catch any out as he comes across now. Just check to see if there's any stragglers here hiding in the tree line. As he'll go back to farming the creep wave. Navi unlikely to move up here for the time being. Just keeping the farm going and making sure that their cores can keep on a parallel with that of VP, and they certainly are doing so very, very well. The difference now between G and Dendy has closed down to 2k at the start. Obviously, we did see Dendy kind of suffer a lot on the Invoker, but that Midas has really helped the catch-up, the fights as well. Dichira moving up towards the top. We'll see if he can get anyone out here. He's going to have the vision onto No Fear. No Fear. Caught out immediately by the Blink Crush. Let's back up as well, coming in for Navi. We'll see if he can get himself out. Goes for the roll-away TP, and this time it's successful. They can't close the gap, Navi. Looking towards a Aloha Dance. A lot of pings. They haven't got vision of him at the moment, but they know he's about. Here we go. Artstar again, shutting down the slot. He doesn't even need the rest of the team. They're coming nonetheless, but Artstar with perfect positioning, cutting down and cutting off Aloha Dance's slot.
Look at his progression in items. He's going to have an Aghanim Scepter on top of the Ether Lens, plus level 16 soon. That is going to be your big high ground push. The Navi are rapidly taking control of the map. They're going to force more fights against VP on right outside their base.
I mean, Artstar, he's only 1k behind Dendy. I mean, he's been having a great game here. They will shut him down. They'll catch out the Shaman. But yeah, this is an insane amount of farm for Artstar to have. And it looks like Navi maybe thinking about doing something about this one. Looking to wrap around Tetra again with this Blind Crush. Not going to catch anyone. Gets the Amplify out to FNG and will continue to chase. No Fear holds him back with Boulder Smash. VP just doing their best to disengage, knowing that Navi are hungry for action. Tornado actually going to catch out No Fear, but a little bit too far for Navi to follow up on that. But this game, Ben, is seeming incredibly close, and if you're VP, you've got to be a little bit annoyed that you've let this much slip away.
And especially those two Roshans, they have to reevaluate how they fight around the Rosh pit. Like wrapping around to the right side and just solo ARPing the Slardar might be their demise. And I don't exactly know what the best plan is for them to go in the Rosh pit, but Cap mentioned like stalling out and waiting for them. The problem with that is, I think, is just playing against a Slardar. If you're gone for 20 seconds, bam, they can just do Rosh. They don't even need their whole team. It's just Slardar plus the Shadow Shaman can do it on their own. So taking control of this area, setting up wards for a better fight so you can get multiple men in the RP might be a better solution.
VP moving over to Navi's half of the map, hanging around by the secret shop. And Navi, they did all back up themselves. And VP, yeah, they're just going to move back with this smoke, realizing that nothing's going to be found. Navi's starting to come out. Dendy, only a couple of 100 gold away from his own Aghanim Scepter. So he himself is going to be able to offer a lot more in these fights. As the game certainly is starting to crank up in terms of difficulty for VP against Navi's lineup.
VP should win the next fight. I think they still have better teamfight ultimates, and they have all these fresh BKBs. So Navi might be at a disadvantage for this next one, even with a new BKB in general.
Yeah, it's just up to Navi to find the right smoke initiation.
VP can close in on this, coming in. Oh, Dendy! Dichira caught out! G brings them back in. The wards will be dropped. Corno only catching Dichira in general. Gets himself in with a 3-man call. Yoku falling low, but the time wall comes out just in time before the takedown's there. No one to die yet, No Fear. Looking into the eyes of Dichira. Dichira slams him down. Aloha does with the Shadow Dome. Trying to move in with the Suneko. Supernova comes out. And Navi they found two. Artstar jumping in for more. FNG trying for the TV out of the call for General's there to cancel it. Double kill for Artstyle. And Navi hitting back incredibly hard on what looked to be a good initiation from VP with that RP from G catching out two of the cores. But Navi, they're not done. Jumping in onto Yoku, finding a fourth. Oh my goodness, G at least he will find the starter off the back of it, but again, this is just superior team fight and reactions from Navi.
Navi are just out fighting VP, even with that great jump in by G to be able to get the RP on two heroes and secure them back. It was General's counter initiation with the call that turns the whole entire fight.
Yeah, they really needed the Chrono on the Void, but yes, so many heroes were caught out by the BKB on the Axe. That was crazy. And Dendy didn't even end up dying in that fight. He was brought down to like 200 HP after the RP.
I mean, it really feels, Ben, that, I mean, as we've been talking about, General, the Axe pick at the start, we saw, you know, they did suffer at the beginning, but now it's come into play. The Axe picks, it's so good against VP's lineup.
Yeah, it really is. And the Stark in particular, like, he is just destitute 1 and 8 on him. And yeah, if VP can't win the fight with that many BKBs and a great RP like that, they're gonna have to hope for Navi to clump even more than they just did there.
They're gonna go and look for yet another fight. In some ways, I think VP, like, they should be more willing to slow down the game and just farm.
Roche is up though. You can't give them an Aegis and cheese. Like,
I guess, but there hasn't been, like, it's not like the whole entire game, there's always been an incentive for them to fight, yet VP are always trying to fight, you know?
That's how they draft though. That's how they draft and how they play.
Well, they're gonna have to find a really excellent initiation where they catch Navi. I mean, maybe they can get the counter initiation.
They need vision on the north side. Like, they've always been playing blind into there, and it's like the one time they did RP that started, they dropped the ward as they went up there, but they need ward set up there before so they can see Navi move in, and in particular, they need to get the support. They need to get the Shadow Shaman and hopefully the Phoenix for them. Like, he's getting his egg off every single time.
Oof, Dichira is, like, really scary soon. If he actually gets the heart, his right-click damage is pretty absurd. He's a real carry. Much better than Slark at this point, actually, which is surprising to say.
To the pit they go with the wards. See what VP want to do in reaction. A lot of times trying to move in, but immediately the Hex comes out, digging the Dark Pact off in time, allowing him to get the Shadow Dance to the RP, then take it down Artstyle against Seneca with a Supernova. No one's focusing at the moment, so they get it off. They've already lost 2. It's Gerald again with these counter initiations, catching out the Slark, and now Desi getting no for on the silence with a perfect Tornado EMP. It's Navi once again, breaking apart the lineup of VP. They'll finish off the Roche. Aegis going the way of Dichira. And it just seems to have been forever since VP have been able to win a team fight against Navi.
He can't chrono anyone at this point. Like, he's been trying to get his chrono off. He got his BKB off, but he wasn't able to get anyone. And like, you don't want to chrono the Axe. And everyone else is just so split far apart. Phoenix is already egged by the time he's out of any sort of disable, and they just cannot combo their 2 ultimates together at all.
And this late into the game, it's not like the right kind of, like, AoE control. They're able to capitalize on it very well, because it used to be like the Earth Spirit and Crystal Maiden, like that AoE control would allow them to output some damage, because they do pretty well in the first, like, 25 minutes of the game. But as the game draws out, these heroes get tankier and tankier from Navi. Their magic damage is kind of pitiful. And then you look at the cores to VP output damage, but how do you do that inside a Chronosphere when you've got a Slark and a Magnus?
Freezing Field.
Yeah, again, it just comes back to the supports. Like, you would just have to have an amazing Freezing Field right next to the Chronosphere. That's your only chance.
I like to point out that G is 8-0 and 10.
I mean, he's been trying his hardest. He really has, this Magnus. He's been hitting the RPs. There's just not been the follow-up. But I mean, as you said, that's quite remarkable that he hasn't lost a single life this game. That certainly is for sure. And as we talked about VP, they do still have the tools available. If they can land that perfect combo, they can destroy Navi. But the fact that Dichira, as you mentioned, closing in on the heart, it is going to get to the point where even a perfect team fight might not be enough to save VP this game.
If they can get Denny and Artstyle in the backline, like where they were just positioned, they can win the team fight.
And I know we talked about it before, but still, look at this from hands for Artstyle. More farm than everyone on the side of VP bar G. He has had a ridiculous game. Absolutely insane. And Navi preparing themselves for the high ground push. Artstyle, the man in question, lays down the wards. Navi ready to go. Let's see what VP's reaction will be here. Already tier 3 gone. They need to do something. They want to hold on to this lane of Rax and Dichira. The Alacrity starts to punch away. A lot of times Bullet for the initiation, jumping in immediately onto the start. Shadow Darts out as well. He held back by the Tornado EMP on the backlines though. Yoku gets a very convincing 3-man Chronosphere, but immediately Seneca with the silence goes for the Supernova. G jumps in with a 2-man RP. Can they kill anyone on the side of RP? No, because the Supernova stun comes out. Freezing Field being attempted by FNG from the high ground, but Navi still looking incredibly strong here. There's a buyback from Artstyle, and there he has it. He gets the shackle from the high ground onto No Fear. No Fear's going to go down as well, and VP, they'll have to buy back on the Earth Spirit. Getting back in, General slides across, blinks in with a call, trying to drag Yoku back towards the main of the team, but Aloha does brings down the bring down the Axe. Can he get
got
there?
another RP.
There it is! G! 3-man RP! Can they clear this one up? Maybe they can. Aloha does to full Artstyle as well. VP, they're doing it for the time being. They need to fight Dichira as well. And it looks like they should be able to. The arm they're talking, will it keep the man alive? They're trying to close the gap. They're doing the bash for Yoku. They've done it. G! This man is carrying so players. Oh my goodness, Ben.
And the melee
LeBron.
racks.
Wow. He is.
But look at the melee racks HP. They were so close to getting like a lot out of that fight, but it was at 100 HP.
mean,
it's going to be full HP by the time they come back.
If they win this game, VP, I mean, geez, this is just insane, Cap.
This guy is like, he's like over there, he's looking at his allies, he's like, where are your guys' items? Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, why do I have to hit all these RPs for us? That was so clutch though. Picking up the refresher in the middle of that team fight, you know, he's able to pop the refresh, get the surprise second RP in, completely catching Navi by surprise. And they're still in a bad situation, right? They've still essentially like almost lost 2 lanes of racks. The melee just barely stayed alive. Navi are going to come back without having to use buyback, so they're still in the same kind of scenario, but he has at least gotten a really big jump up in both gold and experience for his team, and Aloha Dance can start making more item progression, and maybe they can draw this game out another 10 minutes and have a decent shot at coming back.
And credits to Yoku for that 3-man chrono that kind of started off the fight for Navi. And our style, he was rich, then he died, and then he bought back, and then he died again.
Yeah, that whole fight is really kind of shaken up the net worth board. As we've seen it before, it was 4 members of Navi pretty much clean up there, just only G competing. But off the back of that, huge amounts of money being siphoned back towards VP. Abyssal Blade now turned on Aloha Dance. I mean, as you said, they still do a heavy amount of structural damage, but not finishing off the melee racks. Kenny trying to lead in, Navi hungry for more action. There'll be a smoke, but it's immediately dispelled. They know that something's out. The boulder smash as he catches out Denny. The Abyssal Blade jumps as well, and the Mocha's gone. Huge big on start. The fight, he tries jumps in with the crush. General gets the call to Yoga, but the RP catches 2. Aloha Dance choosing to disengage. No fear's being left behind. Arstal will get the shackle, so they'll take down the Earth Spirit. The rest of VP just getting themselves back to base. And here we have it. Dendi looking for more here. Did buy back for this. Navi maybe in a position where they want to just force as heavily as they can to close this game up. There's a buyback available for Yoku. Nothing for No Fear though, so this will be a full minute where the maximum VP will be fighting a 4v5.
This is the most dire moment for VP, but also the biggest opportunity they've had in a while. The fact that Dendi bought back like that, they now have an opportunity to win one team fight and might be able to actually take some control if they win that team fight off of the fact that Dendi won't have a buyback and a really long death timer, and they could push out. So this is, while things are like the darkest that they've been for VP this whole entire game, there is a sliver of hope, and it all just comes down to Yoku's Chronosphere. They get the right Chronosphere, they get the right follow-up.
OG just blew his refresh. He wasn't waiting for the double RP.
Okay.
Only takes one at this stage.
That's unfortunate because now Navi are just gonna back away. I don't think there's much sense in them taking a fight. They got what they wanted, right? They got the melee racks in the top lane. There's no sense in trying to force a fight while buyback is down on Dendi and leave yourself exposed to that kind of late game end scenario where who knows what happens from there.
They would have been in a pretty good spot had they been able to, but he like refreshed back into Fountain because he was worried about mana issues. And yeah, that kind of just wasted the buyback out for No Fear. And that last fight too, they were just not on the same page when they wanted to go for the egg. I saw Yoku just hitting it, and then he just died, still hitting the egg. And Sark had already bounced a long time ago.
And his Chronosphere was just coming up too.
And so Neko has converted to a very heavy support Phoenix. He was very low on net worth, but now he's almost caught up to the other cores, having a lot of auras to lend Navi a hand this late game.
What do you think the best, like, because it's awkward, right? The Phoenix, like, I guess you could get Ags in the kind of game since it did get slightly buffed, but if Phoenix gets items, it's usually like Shivas and then utility items. Do you think a utility item is better in this kind?
There's only a couple of utility items left. Lotus Orb, not very good versus VP's lineup right now. Yule's not terribly great. Force Staff, not that great. Glimmer, not that great. I'm not actually sure what you get. Refresher maybe on Phoenix?
Yeah.
Let's see what the plan is. I mean, is it not in the question to think about acronyms for Seneko?
No, I think it is.
Any good? I mean, helping out the Invoker, refreshing all the spells?
Yeah, it's just more of a saving grace than anything else. Because if you do successfully explode the Supernova...
Yes, then it's pretty bad place.
Yeah, Dendi comes back and he's like, okay, all my spells, good to go. Ditch your Raw. If he has to save Ditch your Raw, like he comes back with 3.4k HP. Like that fight is clearly 1-2. So I think you definitely consider it.
Yeah, if he can get an egg off, like when their BKBs are down, like they have so much control, tornado, blast, call, so that's pretty safe for him. But none of these fights have been like, wow, an Ags Phoenix would have won them the game, so I think he might go for something a little bit more safe. Even Sight might be pretty good too. Yeah. To try and jump the Magnus before he can pop his BKB. You need to pop him before his first BKB because he's going to have 10 seconds with that refresh.
I mean, as we just saw, I mean, look at it, G, he's got 5.1k gold. I mean, he himself's been having an incredible game. What does he buy now? What would you get now on top of the Aghanims to really turn this?
A lot of Agnes like Shiva's after. It helps your mana pool, so you can actually RP twice in a row because the mana cost from the RP is just very prohibitive combined with the refresher. And also it's another activatable, so you can cast that twice. And it also helps versus the amplified damage. Scythe is also another option, but I think Shiva's would be a little bit better for him.
Shadowblade getting some intel, looking for the jump in out. She finds Artstar on the sideline, but immediately FNG can he take it down and get the wards out in time. Artstar, they've already lost one. There's a buyback immediately. There's your RP coming out, skewing Teacher out. Wait for the rest of his team. They'll take down Artstar. Can they find themselves anything more though, VP? They've lost a lot of times to be a buyback. Bring them into the fight. Yoga gets off the chrono. Is on to 3 of them. Could they do anything to follow this through? He'll jump in. Alonso's on to Teacher out. G coming in again, gets bashed up through the BKB and the VP. They've lost 3. They've lost 4 now. There'll be a buyback from G. He's got the RP once again, but it's only him and Aloha. He needs a little bit of a miracle here as Navi look to finally potentially break them, but they'll try it. Brings back them with the RP. Jumps forward. Aloha. Can he kill these men? Teacher up, falling low. He'll get one, but he's got the Aegis. Aloha has to get himself back to the fountain. Will just about do it. Stun strike coming through, and he's lost his life. Aloha does. VP, they tried so hard. Well, at least G did an incredible performance, but overall Navi just outplaying as a team. Just the team play from Navi was absolutely top notch.
Yeah, no, like Virtus Pro had the right idea where they had to jump the Shadow Shaman before he drops the wards.